Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In today's video, we are going to discuss about the extradition of Tahawwur Rana, who is considered as the mastermind behind planning of one of the deadliest terrorist attacks that India has witnessed in the recent history, and that is the 26/11 attack of year 2008 targeting the coastal city of Mumbai. So after almost 16 years of wait that Indian authorities, Indian government had to go through before he could be extradited to India to face justice for his deeds, we have been finally successful. So let us try to understand in detail in this video that what is the entire background, what has made the extradition possible, how the extradition was carried out, what were the judicial or what you can call as the judicial intervention that were made by the Tahawwur Rana's lawyer in the American court, and how this entire situation has panned out. So first of all, to give you the background or the context, almost after 16 years, the 26/11 Mumbai terror attack, Tahawwur Rana, who is also considered as the key conspirator with his linkages with the banned organization, terrorist organizations such as Lashkar-e-Taiba, Houthi, and also he is considered as an associate of David Headley, who largely was responsible for carrying out reconnaissance before the Mumbai was targeted. So he finally has been extradited to India from the US to face trial in the Indian judicial system. The aircraft basically that carried Rana was departed basically from the Los Angeles, that is a city in the United States of America, and then it recently it landed in the Delhi's Indira Gandhi International Airport. Just after the landing, the National Investigation Agency officials, NIA, as you know, is the lead agency as far as the terrorism related cases are concerned. So NIA formally arrested Tahawwur Rana, and after that legal formalities were completed, medical checkup was completed at the airport, and then he has been produced in the district court of Delhi. So this is the overall background. We can understand the situation that has unfolded recently. Now, after arresting Tahawwur Rana, the National Investigation Agency, it has given a statement where it has clearly stated that it was able to successfully extradite Tahawwur Hussain Rana, is the full name of the person, the mastermind of the deadly 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks. Now, obviously, it has been a not easy task. It has been associated with what you can call as years of sustained and concerted efforts, both during the UPA administration as well as during the Bharatiya Janata Party administration. And finally, after the sustained effort, the government of India was able to bring the key conspirator behind the 2008 mayhem to face justice. Now, if you look at Tahawwur Rana, try to understand briefly who is he. So basically, he can be considered as the Pakistani-Canadian businessman who largely was based and operating from the Chicago, which is a famous city in the United States of America. He also has once served in the Pakistani Army Medical Corps. Now, Rana is accused of providing crucial logistic support. We know that it was the sea route through where the Pakistani terrorists entered into the Mumbai through the Mumbai port, Mumbai harbour, and then they carried out and launched a series of strikes and attacks against different targets of the Mumbai, such as Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus. Then you have the Leopold Cafe. Then you have the one of the major landmark of Mumbai, that was the Taj Hotel. So all these attacks that were carried out in quick succession with proper guidance and what we can call as a proper understanding of the entire area and map would not have been possible without the logistic support provided by Tahawwur Rana. So that is why what you can consider as that he is to a great extent responsible for the loss of life that India had to suffer due to this dastardly terrorist attack. So after that, almost 11 months after the attack, in the month of October 2009, finally Tahawwur Rana was arrested in the Chicago, and since then he was in the US jail, in the US custody. Now, if we look at the process that has unfolded in the United States before he could be successfully extradited to the US, we know that it has been a long time period, and the entire process has to go through what you can call as a lengthy judicial process. So first of all, if you look at the first avenue, is that in the judicial custody where the Tahawwur Rana was placed in the United States pursuant to proceedings that was initiated by the Indian government officials pertaining to the India-US extradition treaty. After that, when he was produced in the United States District Court in the Central District of California, then after looking into the matter, the Central District of California Court already has ordered his extradition, and this order was passed far back in the 16th May 2023, almost 2 years ago from now. But again, it took almost 2 years for the other judicial process to finally go through and unfold. Now, after he was given extradition order by the Central District of California Court, he then filed a further appeal and multiple litigations in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeal, all of which finally were rejected, but it took a lot of time. So in the first state it was Central District of California, then the appeal was filed in the US court, that is the Ninth Judicial Circuit. Now you have to understand the American judicial system is very similar to what we have in India. For example, you have the district court. If someone is found guilty and is imprisoned by the district court, then he has the right to appeal to the High Court. Then High Court can look at the petition and High Court can also reject his appeal, and then the matter can be further referred to the Supreme Court. So similar way, at the lowest level you have the Central District Court of California, and the US Ninth Judicial Circuit holds an appellate jurisdiction over this district court. Appellate jurisdiction simply means that any order given by the Central District Court of California can be modified, changed and quashed by the Ninth Judicial Circuit. So in the second stage, even Ninth Judicial Circuit of Appeals rejected all the petitions and litigations that were filed by the lawyers of Tahawwur Rana. Now as a last resort, as we know that India, when the High Court also rejects your appeal, the last resort you have is the Supreme Court, and similarly in the US also, against the order given by both this court, Tahawwur Rana and his lawyers put several petitions belonging to different type of writ petitions such as certiorari, you have habeas corpus, and even the emergency application was filed. But ultimately all these applications were rejected by the US Supreme Court as well, and because of the denial of all this petition, finally there was no resort left and the extradition process had to finally begin and culminate. Now obviously we have to understand that through this entire process that has taken place, we cannot say any 1, 2 or 3 organizations are responsible behind it. Rather, it was a collective and concerted effort of several organizations both in the United States of America as well as in India, which finally culminated in the successful extradition. So if you look at on the US side, obviously you have the US Department of Justice, and then it was obviously supported by the US Federal Air Marshal. US Federal Air Marshal are largely responsible for transporting of the criminals, transporting of the prisoners from one place to other place via air transport. So the security of the prisoner is largely maintained by the Federal Air Marshal. Then from India side, you have the two lead agencies, that is the National Investigation Agency, and then they were also supported by the commandos of National Security Guard. And then at the ministry level, obviously in the US, you have the Department of Homeland Security. They were continuously in talks with the Ministry of Home Affairs. They were continuously collaborating with them. And then the Ministry of External Affairs were continuously collaborating and in discussion with the Department of State of US. So due to the collective efforts of all these organizations, finally the seal and approval was granted, and the team from India actually reached the United States on Sunday to obtain the custody of Rana. They secured his custody finally on the Wednesday, 2 days after, in the evening in the Los Angeles, and departed for Delhi, where they have landed in the Indira Gandhi International Airport. Now, what Rana is largely accused of, as we have discussed, that he is considered as a key collaborator, and also he is believed to be one of the major operatives of the terrorist organization, that is Lashkar-e-Taiba and Huji, which has been working and which has carried out many nefarious attacks on India and based in the Pakistan. So basically Rana was working in cahoots with David Headley, David Coleman Headley as his full name, also referred as Daud Gilani, and he has helped in carrying out the devastating terror attacks in Mumbai 2008, which unfortunately has led to a loss of 166 people and also led to the injury of 238 people. Now, the background of this entire extradition can also be traced back to the meeting that took place between the US President Trump and the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi 2 months back. And during this meeting, when they are giving a joint statement in the White House to the press, in that time, Donald Trump has announced already that today I am pleased to announce that my administration has approved the extradition of one of the plotters of the very evil people of the world. So he is going back to India to face justice, and as a response to this, Prime Minister Modi has accepted that he is thankful to the President Trump for his decision to hand over the culprit responsible for 2008 killings in India. Now, interestingly, though the extradition of Tahawwur Rana has been granted, David Coleman Headley, who is also a main collaborator and conspirator behind the 2008 attack, still the US is dragging its feet behind before what you can call as approving the extradition. Now, if you look at the events that proceeded just before the arrival, the National Investigation Agency it has asked the Delhi police Nyayik Abhiraksha Vahini. Nyayik Abhiraksha Vahini is basically a wing of Delhi police responsible for transporting prisoners from one jail to other jail or from one region to the other region. So basically the 3rd battalion of Nyayik Abhiraksha Vahini was asked to send a jail van along with a pilot escorts to the Indira Gandhi airport around 7 am. However, then later on we had weather disturbances due to which the landing of flight was delayed, and thus they were asked to come few hours later. Then finally, in the evening of 5:15 p.m., police personnel were called inside the IGI airport. The police personnel belonging to Delhi police, and they were asked to deposit their cell phone with authorities concerned, so there cannot be any kind of communication to outside about the entire process of transporting and moving the Tahawwur Rana, because you know that it is a very sensitive and what we can call as a very crucial matter, and that is why the security had to be of utmost importance and of paramount importance. Now, a team of 3 senior NIA officers headed by an Inspector General rank officers and officials from the intelligence agencies were largely who actually were transporting Tahawwur Rana. Finally, at 10 p.m., the Patiala House Courts is where he was produced, and the NIA then asked a custody for 20 days. Finally, the courts have given a custody of 18 days to the NIA, in which time duration, the interrogation and everything related to the inquiry has to be completed. Now, obviously, government has reacted in a very elated manner. The Union Home Minister Amit Shah in this regard has clearly given a statement, and he has touted it as a big success of the Modi government that finally after 6 years we were able to extradite Tahawwur Rana. The Modi government's effort is to bring to justice those who attack India's honor, land and people. He will be brought here to face trial and punishment. On the other hand, Congress has said that this kind of statement is wrong statement because BJP is trying to falsely take credit for the Rana's extradition. Congress, on the other hand, has said that the extradition is obviously successful because of culmination of decades and half of painstaking work that the Indian government and agencies and organizations have conducted at diplomatic front, legal front, as well as at intelligence front, and which was initiated, led and sustained by the UPA government as well. So no matter whoever is taking responsibility, we as an Indian should be happy that finally it is a time that the person, the criminal, the terrorist behind the dastardly attack of 26/11/2008 will be able to face justice in the India by the judicial system. So that is all about this particular video. I hope you got the idea behind the entire extradition process, what has unfolded on the judicial front, what has unfolded on the security front, and why it is a big step in the right direction, especially if talk about the security relationship between India and United States. The next step, obviously, for the government of India is to also secure the extradition of David Headley, who already has been tried in absentia by the Mumbai courts. So that is all for this particular video. If you like the video, please hit the like button, share it with your aspirants, as well as subscribe to our channel for more such helpful content. Thank you very much.